Politics have been connected to corruption since it began. Every generation is outraged, both parties are outraged, and naively, they also pretend that their side would never do such a thing. So we are going to look at some political corruption weird, particularly weird things number 4 and number 1, so stay tuned on today's episode of 5 Weird Things. Welcome to the channel. You know, there's an old joke about how do you know when a politician is lying? His lips are moving. Doesn't matter what party, I think all politicians are lying on the daily. What's your opinion? Can you trust politicians, yes or no? Let me know down in the comments. All right, let's get into it. First, the very brief, the things we need to know. At any given moment, there are 519,000 politicians in the United States. 500,000 of those are local politicians, 18,500 are state, and just over 500 are federal. Now that's a lot of politicians. And of 180 countries rated, starting with number 1 being the best, the United States is ranked 24th in corruption worldwide. Everybody got that? Good. Weird thing number 5. Congressional stock hustles. Here's a few eyebrow-raising and kind of unbelievable facts about Congress's version of the Wall Street day trader hustle. There are loopholes galore. Despite the Stock Act aiming to stop insider trading by lawmakers, they're still allowed to trade stocks in industries that they directly oversee. So while the rest of us guess about stock market moves, Congress can just trade with a wink and a nudge completely legally. Now there's also the amazing luck with timing. Sometimes Congress members make stock trades that align perfectly with big legislative shifts, like how several lawmakers coincidentally sold stock right before COVID lockdowns after receiving pandemic briefings. It's like having a crystal ball, or at least the next best thing, insider briefings. Penalty? What penalty? If a member of Congress misses the 45-day deadline for reporting a trade, the fine is a whopping $200. Considering that that is a tenth of the average Congress member's paycheck for a day, it's almost as if the penalty is just a formality of doing business. Family matters. To sidestep the whole trading scandal thing, many politicians have their spouses and families do the stock trading. The thinking goes, I'm not trading it myself, so it's totally legal, fine? But it's like passing a hot potato, but it's your portfolio and potentially your ethics. Now, calls to just ban it already. Thanks to mounting scandals, more people, and even Congress members, are calling for a ban on stock trading by lawmakers. Proposals range from blind trusts to index funds only. But so far, they haven't passed. Because who votes on those? Congress. Who does it regulate? Congress. Seems Congress can agree on a very few things, but especially when it involves the stock game. Now, Congress's stock hustle might just be the only bipartisan activity in Washington, because who doesn't like a good, well-timed trade? Weird thing number 4, the sex scandals. American politicians are a randy bunch, and at times, seemingly without morals. Here's a couple of very choice tales. The pants-free Zoom call. In 2020, Jeffrey Toobin, a legal analyst and political commentator, was caught in a very awkward moment on a work-related Zoom call. Assuming his camera was off, Toobin's wardrobe malfunction ended up becoming one of the most infamous Zoom fails of the pandemic. And a reminder to double-check your settings. Anthony Weiner's not-so-private Weiner tweets. Former Congressman Anthony Weiner's career took a severe nosedive after he accidentally tweeted a revealing photo of himself meant as a private message to an underage girl. Despite multiple scandals of a similar nature, he made repeated attempts at a comeback, even running for New York mayor in 2013. Somehow, his surname only made it all the more memorable. The love child revelation. Former Senator John Edwards was in the headlines for years due to a hidden affair and love child while his wife was battling cancer. Way to go, John. The scandal became a media circus, with his campaign donor secretly paying to support his mistress, leading to a very messy court trial. The Appalachian hiking trip. South Carolina Governor Mark Sanford disappeared for nearly a week in 2009, with his staff claiming he was hiking the Appalachian Trail. He later revealed he'd actually been in Argentina visiting his mistress, in a scandal that redefined going off the grid for everyone. The sexting congressman named Cox. U.S. Congressman T.J. Cox, of all the ironic names he could have had, came under fire for not just my financial misdeeds, but also for suggestive messages to a colleague. In a twist, the double scandal somehow flew mostly under the radar amid other political chaos of the time. Political sex scandals in the U.S. have served up a mix of cringe and comedy, proving that truth is stranger and often more embarrassing than fiction. Weird thing number 3. The nonprofit foundation. The political nonprofit has long been recognized as a way to generate money without a clear mandate or purpose. Here's a couple of my favorites. The foundation as a personal piggy bank. The Trump Foundation faced scrutiny for allegedly being used to pay for personal expenses, including a $10,000 portrait of Donald Trump himself. Rather than operating solely as a charity, some argued it functioned more like a personal checking account. Hiring family at nonprofits. A common misuse is hiring relatives for hefty salaries. Former Congresswoman Corinne Brown was convicted of funneling money for her nonprofit to herself, friends, and family, proving that charity begins at home can be taken a little bit too literally. The phantom scholarship trick. Some political foundations proudly announce scholarships and donations that look great in the press, but mysteriously never materialize for real students. These ghost scholarships serve to boost image without making much actual charitable impact. The Vanity Project Foundation. Certain politicians set up foundations in their own names, mainly as a self-promotion effort. These nonprofits often have large event budgets, but little actual charitable activity, existing largely to keep politicians' names in front and center of the press. Charitable donations with a side of politics. Some foundations funnel donations into causes or groups that align with their own political agendas rather than universally beneficial initiatives, blurring the line between charitable giving and political influence. The original smoke and mirrors. Now, the Clinton Foundation has occasionally been described as a charity with really good connections. While its global work on health and development is widely recognized, critics say the foundation operated like a VIP lounge where big donors, especially wealthy foreign ones, could get closer access to the Clintons and political influence. It also faced eyebrow-raising questions about high administration costs and luxury travel expenses, so much so that it seemed like they were saving the world one 5-star hotel stay at a time. And then there's the just friends side hustle. Political allies and friends of the Clintons who sometimes scored gigs or contracts linked to the foundation. No direct wrongdoing was found, but for some, the whole operation gave new meaning to the term nonprofit. Weird thing number 2, super PACs. The American super PACs, the freewheeling best friends of modern campaigns. Money with no limits. Super PACs can accept unlimited donations from individuals, corporations, and unions. Yes, unlimited. As in, hey Jeff Bezos, write a check for $1 billion if you want. All while you and I still count coins for the coffee shop tip jar. The I swear we're not coordinating together game. Super PACs technically don't coordinate with campaigns they support, but in reality, they're often run by former staffers, friends, or ex-roommates of the candidate. So the candidates might say, we're totally need more ads in Ohio. And a week later, poof, Ohio is plastered in new ads. Just a coincidence, right? The Super PAC name game. Super PACs have the most patriotically vague names ever. Things like Americans for a Brighter Future, Citizens United for Justice, and it's hard to tell if they're advocating for something serious or just running a mattress sale. It is a dark money wonderland. Super PACs can accept money from anonymous donors, leading to something called dark money. It's like a political costume party where everybody wears a mask, so we never know who's actually behind the check for $500,000. Creative ads? Questionable truth. Super PACs have no problem getting creative with facts in their ads. Since they don't have to answer to candidates directly, they're free to go wild with, let's say, imaginative storytelling. Expect dramatics that really make reality TV look tame. In the Wild West of U.S. politics, super PACs are like the mysterious guest who brings all the drama and the cash, no RSVP required. And finally, weird thing number 1, presidential pardons. Some presidential pardons were so outrageous that it makes you wonder if there's a pardon hall of fame somewhere. Nixon gets a free pass. President Gerald Ford pardoned Richard Nixon for any crimes he may have committed in office without specifying which ones. It's like handing someone a free-to-go card before they even get caught. Talk about the VIP treatment. The pardon for the Pirate of Wall Street. In 2001, President Bill Clinton pardoned Mark Rich, a wealthy financier who'd fled the country after being charged with tax evasion and illegal trading. Rich's ex-wife donated heavily to the Clintons' campaigns, making this the ultimate friends with benefits for Wall Street outlaws. Scooter Libby's get-out-of-jail-free card. Vice President Cheney's top aide, Scooter Libby, was convicted of leaking classified information. President George W. Bush commuted his sentence, and later, President Trump pardoned him entirely. And yes, Scooter is his real name, showing that even D.C. insiders get quirky nicknames and second chances. The bootlegging buddy. In 1923, President Harding pardoned a notorious bootlegger named Roy Olmsted during Prohibition. Olmsted went on to become a model citizen, writing children's books of all things, making him probably the only pardoned criminal to swap moonshine for story time. Pardoning his brother's dealer. In a true family twist, President Jimmy Carter pardoned his brother Billy's friend, who had been convicted of dealing drugs. It was a rare moment of brotherly love, or perhaps just cleaning up the family tree. Presidential pardons, where Wall Street tycoons, mischievous aides, and even family pals can get a second shot at freedom, all with a presidential signature. Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope it made you a little uncomfortable. Please like, subscribe, share the video. Click on more of my videos to keep the weird rolling. And for those still watching, today's code word is graft. Put that down in the comments to acknowledge that graft is just the name of the game. Take care. Have a great day.